Hello, everyone. It's Francis Widdowson here. I know some people like this and some people don't, but I am what I am. Anyway, so I have a few minutes. I have about half an hour before I'm going to have the schnitzel and orzo. That's on the menu for tonight. So I want to just, go over what happened in the Marten Youssef, Aaron Pete interview about polarization. And I'm a big fan, as I keep on saying, I'm a big fan of Aaron Pete. Hi, Daniel. I'm a big fan of Aaron Pete. I know he's a nice guy. He's trying to be conciliatory. He's trying to please people, but we sort of need a little bit of that to counterbalance the somewhat more aggressive approaches of, perhaps myself, uh, and so on. Like, I really don't think I'm that aggressive, to be honest. I really do try to just question why people believe the things that they do. And I don't get involved in very many heated exchanges. Probably my most heated exchanges with Jordan Tucker, who was the journalist, the so-called journalist who worked for CBC, who was just being outrageous, and I kind of took the gloves off a little bit and pummeled her. But if you look at my interaction with the trans person at UBC and Melody, I don't think I was overbearing, and other instances. So, but still, I think I still really love that interview that Aaron Pete did, and I really did appreciate the fact he was able to draw out a number of things from Marten Youssef. The situation is that Youssef is claiming that neutrality is an important value of the University of British Columbia. And neutrality means that the university, and this was in the Calvin Report in the 1960s, that's when that was developed by the University of Chicago. And it stated that the university is not the entity that develops the position. The university is an institution that provides a forum for the different positions to come together and contest one another. And if the university takes a position, it sends a signal to faculty and students to go along this path. And that has serious consequences for the institution. And in my own academic career, that's when I knew that Mount Royal University was in serious trouble. Was in 2014, Mount Royal University started to indigenize. It decided it was going to indigenize the university. And as well, we had the Canadian Association of University Teachers come and give a workshop on equity. And equity, diversity, inclusion is not some kind of neutral thing. It is a prescribed doctrine, and it is about trying to bring about equity, which is proportional representation of oppressed groups in various leadership and bureaucratic kinds of positions, also students, and you use diversity, the ideas of diversity and inclusivity, to bring about this goal of equity. And of course, the reason why you have groups like Aboriginal people who are not proportionately represented, so not 7% of Aboriginal people are professors, administrators, or students, is not because of some kind of discrimination. It's because of the low educational standards that exist in the school system. So, to try and increase the numbers to 7% means that you're going to go against the merit principle and have lower standards for that Aboriginal representation. And, prize things like Indigenous science, what's called Indigenous science, which is not science. And I don't care. This is why I can't be reinstated, because I say that Indigenous science is not science. And I will never not say that Indigenous science is not science unless you give me some evidence as to how this is the case. But anyway, so that's kind of the prescribed doctrine that is happening at Mount Royal destroyed the university. So Mount Royal is a great institution in 2008. By 2021, when I was fired, it was just a hollow shell of its former greatness. There's the administration just completely was changed over, and there was all culture shift. They hired a bunch of woke faculty members who then took over the union, and it was just a disaster. But in terms of neutrality, so you want to have neutrality. You don't want to have this equity, diversity, and inclusion ideology that's being imposed. Anyway, just one sec. I'll just be about 5 minutes here. I'm just going to be just 5 minutes. Sorry, I'm being called to dinner. Yeah, so anyway, I didn't realize dinner was coming up so quickly. But I have 5 minutes. If there's any burning questions that I can answer, I'd be happy to do so. What is your opinion on the BC decision on the land being returned to native status? I think it's a complete disaster, and it's going to cause destabilization, massive destabilization. People who have heard of Yuri Bezmenov about demoralization, destabilization, and then heading into crisis, I think that's a disaster. We should have legal equality, and some animals are not more equal than others. That's George Orwell's famous statement, because we need to all be equal under the law, and this whole idea is going to cause massive conflict. Do you have any suggestion for responsible? Yeah, I would hold up my card. Strongly disagree. As well, if it's in the proposal stages, say, this is a political statement. People are entitled to their own beliefs. They can make their own proposals, but it shouldn't be an institutional matter. That's imposing. That's basically a loyalty oath. It's a terrible kind of situation, because you get people to go against what they truly believe in. And, as Aaron Pete said, he doesn't agree with land acknowledgements. But as an Aboriginal person, he can say that, but non-Aboriginal can't say that. Yeah, Indigenous science is an oxymoron. I don't mind, in terms of 1BC, working with 1BC. I don't mind doing that. I'm not aligned with 1BC because I'm old growth left. So there's many things I would disagree with, but I appreciate Dallas Brody's courage. I also appreciate the ex-members of 1BC, Tim Thielman, Tara Armstrong's courage. So I just kind of go along with whomever is courageous. And that's what I want to do. I'm not aligned politically. I used to be an NDP supporter, long time, but they just veered away from class politics and went into, subjective identity politics. And I cannot abide by all this nonsense, especially the TGBQ2S nonsense. That's just the most subjective and the most idiotic of all the things. So, and indigenization is a close second, but the trans stuff but that's going to be opposed. And for people who are going to be in Montreal, I'm going to Montreal with Kathy Drake. We're going to be talking about getting the penises out of female prisons. That's going to be the main focus of that conference. And we're going on a march to oppose trans activism. Is going to be a big deal. So that's my other issue. Barry Neufeld. Oh, the Barry Neufeld decision. It's an outrage. It's an absolute outrage. But hopefully that'll spark people to say, hey, things are totally out of control. We got to rein in. We got to get rid of those human rights commissions. Those are just toxic and totalitarian in their intent. Anyway, peeps, it's been great talking to you. I wish I had more time, but I don't want my dinner to get cold. Maybe I'll do another Q&A sometime in the near future, and we can cover some more of, I hope the appeal will be successful. Maybe it will. Who knows? But thanks a lot, everyone. I got to go, but I'll do another stream Q&A in the near future. Thanks very much for joining me. Have a great day.